I found out through an Instagram story. The pink bows on the BMW glinted under the afternoon sun, and her caption read, "Couldn't have done it without the best parents ever, Yushasa grad queen blessed." I watched it from my bed. My room still. Had a cracked window pane, still smelled faintly of damp carpet from the spring flood. No one fixed. I hadn't posted anything about my graduation, because I didn't have one. They told me we needed to tighten the budget that year. Said things were too uncertain to splurge on ceremony tickets or announcements. No cap and gown, no photos. Just a tight hug from my dad in the hallway and a dinner I paid for. But somehow, my younger sister got a BMW with custom plates. A pastel banner hung above the garage in the background of her video. "Congrats, Cassidy," it read in glittering gold. The comments flooded in. "OMG, you're so loved. They did you right. Your family's the sweetest." I just stared at the screen, trying to remember when she even got her license. A week earlier, I'd asked Mom casually what they planned to do for Cassidy's graduation. She looked up from the stove and said, "Just something small. You know how we've all been stretched this year." And then she added, lightly, too lightly, "We're just so proud of both of you girls. Both of us." But Cassidy got a brand new BMW, and I got a handshake and a text from Grandma. The thing is, the graduation fund wasn't even theirs. It was mine. Grandma opened it when I was 8. Every birthday she'd say, "This is for college, darling. For the day you cross that big stage." I never saw the stage. And I never saw the fund. I'd asked about it when I turned 22, during my last semester. Tuition was tight, and I was juggling 2 part-time jobs. Dad got defensive. Said something about emergency expenses, about helping the family stay afloat. But there was no receipt, no explanation. Just an awkward dinner and an envelope with a $100 Starbucks card tucked inside, like that would help. I didn't say anything when I saw the post. Not to Mom, not to Dad, definitely not to Cassidy. Instead, I clicked mute on all her stories. Then I pulled out the little notebook from my bottom drawer, the one I used to write in when I was 13, dreaming about dorm rooms and lectures, and maybe, just maybe, Paris. That night, I made a list of everything I'd paid for, of everything they told me I shouldn't expect, of everything I'd given quietly, and what I wouldn't give anymore. It's strange, the things you remember. The smell of warm plastic from my laptop fan. The scratch of my pen against the paper as I listed every little thing I let slide. Not just the money. The silences. The deflections. The way they called me mature for my age when I swallowed disappointments they never even acknowledged. Cassidy's party happened the following weekend. I was in the house when guests began to arrive. Nobody told me there'd be one. I was in the laundry room folding my work polos when I heard music, pop remixes with fake cheer, and laughter trailing in through the living room. I poked my head out, still holding a towel. The dining table was covered in pink frosting cupcakes. A photo banner of Cassidy's baby pictures dangled above the sliding glass doors. My face was missing. Not a single photo of the two of us. Not one shot from my graduation the year before. Just her. Her braces. Years. Her cheer uniform. Her first time behind the wheel. "Hey, can you move your car?" Dad said as he passed me in the hall. I blinked. My car? Yeah. Guests need the driveway. I stood there holding a dish towel, watching as Cassidy's friend Hannah air-kissed my mom in the entryway. No one looked at me. No one asked if I'd be staying for cake. And I realized something simple and awful. They didn't see me as part of the celebration. I was just in the way. I moved my car, but not down the street like he suggested. I took it all the way to the other side of town. To the parking lot behind a dim little cafe I used to go to during finals week. I sat in the driver's seat and didn't cry. I didn't scroll. I didn't check the stories. I didn't text anyone. I just sat there with the engine off and the windows cracked, listening to the muffled pulse of passing cars and the tinny hum of the cafe's outdoor speaker system playing something jazzy and indifferent. I didn't go home that night. No one called. The next morning, I came back early and quietly. The leftover balloons were deflated. A few plastic cups were tipped over in the grass. The BMW wasn't there. Neither was Dad's. Car Mom was at the sink rinsing dishes when I came in. She didn't look up. "Did you sleep at a friend's?" she asked. "No," I said. "I just didn't feel like being here." She paused, then shrugged. "Cassidy was asking about you. Said it was weird you didn't come down." That made me laugh. Quiet and bitter. I was never invited. Later, I went back to the notebook. On one page, I wrote, "It wasn't that they didn't see me, it's that they saw me and chose to ignore me anyway." I underlined it 3 times and started a second list. Things I will not do anymore. Apologize for asking questions. Show up for people who don't ask if I'm coming. Pretend birthdays don't hurt. Buy gifts for people who forget mine. Offer silence when what I needed was recognition. BMW had a bow. My degree came in an envelope. And somehow, they still thought we were even. The next week, Cassidy posted a TikTok of her driving the BMW down our street. She was laughing, windows down, her phone on the dash, music blaring some trendy remix. The camera panned past our porch, my porch technically, though no one ever said it like that, and the caption floated in pink cursive, "Graduated WI Love. Thanks, Mom and Dad." Love. The word caught in my throat like dust. Love wasn't what I felt when I opened my bank app that morning and saw my balance sit quietly, unmoving, still low, still stretched from groceries, bills, gas. Still the same after they borrowed from Grandma's fund, after they skipped celebrating my graduation, after they threw a whole backyard party and never said a word to me. Cassidy knew, I think. I caught her one night in the kitchen, reheating something in the microwave. I had just come home from a double shift. My uniform still smelled like fryer oil and black coffee. She turned and said, half laughing, "You really missed out last weekend." I didn't say anything. She tilted her head like she was trying to read me, then added, "You should have told. Mom, you wanted a party too. I mean, you always just do your own thing. I always do my own thing. Like when I filled out all my FAFSA forms by myself. Like when I biked to the admissions office to turn in late documents because no one could drive me. Like when I had to call the bursar's office 3 times to unfreeze my account. Like when I bought my own cake that year. A plain one. From the grocery store. No candles. No names written in icing. Just me. And a plastic fork. There's a certain ache in realizing your family doesn't feel your absence. Not because they're too busy, but because they didn't expect you to be there in the first place. That Sunday, I took my notebook and went to the park by the community library. The wind was soft, stirring the corners of the pages. I stared at the words I had written the week before. Then I flipped to a fresh page. This time I wrote, "I am done performing daughterhood for people who only clap for the other child." It didn't feel like rage. It felt like standing in a room that used to be full and noticing all the chairs are turned toward someone else. It felt like silence with sharp edges. It felt like drawing a slow, invisible boundary. That night, I got an email from a local community arts program I had applied to months ago. They accepted me. They offered a small stipend and housing, shared but stable. I closed the email and stared at the screen, not in disbelief, but in stillness. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't mention the offer at dinner, where Cassidy complained about the cost of car maintenance and Dad told her not to worry. He'd handle it. No one asked how my job was. No one noticed when I excused myself early. Later, I circled one line in my notebook. Sometimes quiet people leave the loudest holes, and I began to pack. Just a few boxes. Just the essentials. Quietly, after work. One drawer at a time. No announcements. No explanations. I wouldn't owe them one. It's amazing how much of your life fits into 3 boxes when you stop including the parts that never felt like yours. The first was full of notebooks, half-filled journals, scribbled sketches from sleepless nights, letters I never sent. The second held clothes. Nothing fancy, just what I needed. And the third? That was for the fragments I couldn't quite explain. The mug Grandma gave me before she passed. The keychain from the campus bookstore I bought with my last $10. A cracked photo frame with a picture of me at 16, back before I learned how to fold myself small enough to fit in their expectations. I didn't leave that night. Not yet. I wanted one more morning, just to see if anyone noticed. That Sunday I made breakfast. Pancakes, bacon, coffee, Mom's favorite blend. I didn't say much, just cooked quietly and left the plates out. Cassidy was scrolling through her phone at the table. Dad walked in, kissed Mom on the cheek, and said, "You really went all out today." She smiled and shrugged. "Didn't have time this morning. Guess someone felt inspired." She didn't look at me. No one did. I sat across from them with my cup of coffee and watched them eat the breakfast I made. Watched them talk about the movie they wanted to see. Watched Cassidy complain about her tires. And I realized I could disappear. Right there, in plain sight. And they just moved the salt shaker into my place. That night, I packed the boxes into my trunk. It was late. The kind of late where the streetlights hum louder than the wind. I left my key on the kitchen counter, beside the fruit bowl. I thought about writing a note. Something soft, something gentle. But there was nothing left to explain. They had my silence now. Let them sit in it. I didn't drive straight to the new place. I took the long way. Past the school. Past the library. Past the old bus stop where I used to wait after night classes, eating granola bars and wondering if anyone missed me yet. No one ever came, but I came for myself now. The housing wasn't fancy. Shared bathroom, bare walls, but it had something I hadn't felt in years, a lock on my door, and quiet. The kind that wasn't loaded with tension. The kind that didn't demand anything of me. I opened my notebook again that night, wrote one sentence. Sometimes healing doesn't look like a confrontation. Sometimes it's just leaving without asking for the goodbye they never planned to give you. The next morning, I woke up to a single text from Mom. "Are you coming to Cassidy's photo shoot this weekend?" No question about where I was. No, are you okay? No mention of the key, the breakfast, the silence. Just another event I hadn't been told about. Another role they expected me to show up for, dressed in support. I stared at the message, felt nothing, typed back, "I won't be available," and didn't wait for a reply. 3 days passed before she responded. "Okay. Let me know if you change your mind." Just that. No punctuation, no warmth, not even a question mark to pretend it was a conversation. I didn't reply. I turned my phone face down on the desk and opened my curtains instead. The light that came through wasn't golden or cinematic. It was pale, overcast, soft, but it touched my skin like something honest, and that was enough. I had orientation at the arts program that week. There were 12 of us, some younger, some older. One girl wore headphones the entire time and never looked up. One boy kept offering. Everyone gummed like it was a peace treaty. We weren't friends, not yet. But no one looked past me. When I said my name, someone wrote it down. When I said I liked mixed media collage, someone nodded and asked if I had a portfolio. I didn't. But I said I'd start one. And for the first time in years, I believed myself. Later that night, I walked to the corner cafe, the one with the mismatched chairs and flickering candle jars. I brought my sketchbook. I ordered chamomile tea, and for 23 uninterrupted minutes, no one asked me to shrink. No one needed me to play supporting cast. I wasn't an older sister, wasn't the dependable one, wasn't the one who'd figure it out so everyone else could be loud. I was just there. Cassidy posted a reel the next day. She was in a silk dress, twirling under a golden hour sun, her smile wide and practiced. The caption read, "This is what love looks like." But the part that really hit, was the song in the background. It was the same one I used to play in the car on the way to my last internship. The one she said was too moody. Now it was her soundtrack, her moment, her borrowed light. I didn't watch it twice. Didn't send it to a friend to dissect. Didn't bother with comments. I just turned my phone off and went back to sketching the corner of my teacup. Tracing the shadow it made on the table like it mattered. The counselor at the program gave us a prompt the next week. Make something about a memory that changed you, without using faces. That night, I sat cross-legged on the hardwood floor and pulled out scraps of old receipts, lace, and thread. I stitched together something crooked, something layered, something sharp at the edges, a photo of an envelope, a torn piece of ribbon, a sketch of a window, closed. I didn't title it. I didn't explain, but I pinned it to the wall above my desk and sat with it for a long time. That weekend, I got another text. This time from Dad. Car insurance came in. Need you to cover Cassidy's until she gets on her feet. No, hello. No, how are you? Just the assumption. The routine. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my bank app and changed the passwords. I closed the old joint account Mom had access to from when I was 16, and I made a note on my calendar. No longer available for family favors. Later that night, I wrote just one sentence in my notebook. I am not the net beneath their fall. I am not the ladder they forgot they climbed. There's a strange stillness after you stop answering. Not silence, but the space where noise used to be, where obligation used to live, where their voices used to tug at you like gravity. After I closed the old bank account, I didn't hear from them for 5 days. Then came the inevitable voicemail, Mom's voice, trying to sound cheerful. Hey, sweetheart. Just saw that the joint account isn't working anymore. Must be a glitch. Let me know when it's fixed, okay? Cassidy has her registration due soon. Love you. She said love you like it was a code word. Something that could still unlock me. But I didn't call back. I didn't text. I didn't explain. I bought myself a small second-hand dresser that week, painted it a soft gray, lined the drawers with lavender paper. It squeaked when I opened it, but it was mine, and I filled it only with what I chose to carry forward. No hand-me-down expectations, no emotional debt stuffed in the corners. I kept seeing Cassidy's car around town. It stood out, pearly white, shiny rims, vanity plate that read Casgrad, parked crooked, always slightly in the way. It used to make my stomach turn. Now it didn't, because I knew what funded it, and I also knew what it cost, not just to me, to them. I overheard someone at the cafe mention her the other day. She got a car for graduating high school? Must be nice. Another replied, yeah. But I heard she's not even going to college. Something about taking a year off, influencing or something. They didn't know I was there. Didn't know I used to make her ramen when she cried over algebra. Didn't know she once said she'd never take something that belonged to me. And did. Orientation turned into workshops. Workshops turned into late nights in the studio. I started, making pieces that were too big to ignore. Thread and wax and broken glass. Things I never would have allowed myself to create under that old roof, where mess was considered a failure and boldness was reserved for Cassidy's tantrums. Here, no one flinched. No one asked me to be smaller. On a Thursday, I got an envelope. In the mail. No return address. Just my name. My full name. Inside was a folded receipt. 4217, from a cake shop 2 towns over, scrawled on the back, in Mom's handwriting. This was supposed to be for your graduation. Sorry it wasn't more. Things were chaotic back then. No card, no explanation. Just a gesture, late and brittle. I held it for a moment. Then I slipped it into a box labeled, Things I Don't Need Closure From. That weekend, Cassidy posted a video of her new ring light setup. Thank you for believing in me, she said to the camera. I'm finally doing this on my own. I smiled, quietly, because I knew what on my own really looked like. And it didn't come with a BMW or a follower count. It came with late rent, cheap coffee, and peace. I wrote only one line in my notebook that night. Freedom doesn't always look dramatic. It often just sounds like your own footsteps walking away. I used to believe closure came in full sentences, letters, apologies, maybe a tearful confession over dinner where someone finally saw me. But now I think it's more like this. The absence of urgency, the gentle disinterest in proving anything. Got a message from Cassidy on a Tuesday afternoon. Hey, do you still have my old flat iron? I think I left it in your stuff. There was no greeting. No mention of my birthday 2 days earlier. No, how are you? Just the assumption that I was still holding her things. Like I always had. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my notebook. Again, wrote. They will always see me as a storage unit for what they don't want to carry. And that night, I started another box. Not for things I planned to move, but for things I'd give away. Every shared item. Every object that had her fingerprint, their choices, my resentment, gone. There was a knock at the studio door later that week. It was raining, light, steady, rhythmic. the kind that makes you feel like you're inside something softer than silence. Instructor leaned in, holding a small padded envelope. Something came for you, no name on the return. I opened it under the yellow light of the studio, fingers cold. Inside was a photo. Me, from high school. Wearing a red cardigan, standing next to my science fair board, grinning too hard. Holding a ribbon I paid for myself. Tucked, behind it, a tiny note. In Dad's handwriting. We were proud. We just didn't know how to say it. No date, no address, no way to respond. I stared at it for a long time. It didn't hurt, not like before. It just felt like an echo. Something. Real once, but too far away to touch now. I placed the photo in a drawer. Not on the wall, not in a frame, just away. The new girl at the program, Jenny, asked if I wanted to go to a gallery downtown. Only if you're free, she added quickly. No pressure. It startled me. That softness. I said yes. And we spent the evening wandering through sharp, light and oil paint and sculptures made of wire and rusted metal. We didn't talk much. But at the end of the night, she looked at me and said, "You seem like someone who's learning how to breathe again." I wanted to laugh. But instead I said, "Yeah, I guess I am." That night, back in my small room with the paint-streaked table and lavender-scented dresser, I wrote, "They gave her the car. I gave myself the freedom to go somewhere they can't reach." The day I realized I didn't need them to understand was quiet. No storm, no confrontation. Just morning light filtering through the curtains, catching the edge of my coffee mug. I had just finished another piece for the studio exhibit, thread wound tightly into the shape of a key, buried halfway in resin. I called it, "What They Never Returned." My instructor smiled when I hung it on the wall, said it looked like something that could only be made by someone who had finally stopped waiting. Cassidy posted a Q&A video that week. One of the comments read, "Where's your sister? You never tag her." She scrolled right past it. I got one final message from Mom the night before the open gallery. "Hope everything's good. Cassidy mentioned you moved out. We just assumed you needed space. Let us know if you want to come by for dinner sometime. Love you." It wasn't cruel. It wasn't apologetic either. Just hollow. A way to keep the door open without ever stepping through it. I didn't answer, but I reread it twice. Then I clicked archive, and that was the last time I looked back. The gallery night was warm. I wore a soft linen dress and didn't try to hide behind anyone else's shadow. People stopped to look at my piece. Some tilted their heads. One woman whispered, "That's grief, isn't it? But also release." I nodded. Afterward, Janae and I walked home slowly, the streetlights blinking like soft applause overhead. She didn't ask about my family. Didn't ask why I never brought them up. Just handed me half of her leftover sandwich and said, "You deserve people who stay," and I believed her. Back at my room, I lit a candle, took one last look at the sealed box I never mailed, the one with the receipts, the letter I never finished, the photo from Dad. Then I slid it to the back of the closet, not as a wound, not as a keepsake, just a fact. I opened my notebook last time, and wrote the final line. They taught me how to disappear. I taught myself how to stay gone. And for the first time in years, I slept through the night.